seen it on stage multiple times.
I just want to talk about something that's been on my mind about the balcony scene in Jamie Lloyd's Evita.
Seeing all of this Rachel Ziegler stuff of her playing Evita in England right now is just...
I just think that people are getting the wrong end of the stick.
And that she's making it her own, and the stage production looks a little different.
I keep seeing this analysis of the poor people outside getting a show for free while the rich people have to watch it live streamed indoors. And I just think that is kind of an offensively shallow analysis of Jamie Lloyd's direction.
It started as an ordinary night at the theatre. A calm crowd gathered outside, ticket stubs in hand, ready for another performance of Evita, but within minutes, everything changed. At first it was just a few raised voices, barely noticeable over the hum of city noise. Then came a chant, then another, and suddenly it erupted. From across the street and down the block, dozens of people poured onto the pavement, waving handmade signs and flags, their voices rising in a roar that seemed to rattle the theatre walls. The words they shouted were neither vague nor polite.
I can't even. The sound up in the grand circle was not great, and it is one stage, and it's sometimes used really well and sometimes not so well. Could some of them have enunciated a bit more? Yes, but I think that's as much to do with the sound mix as it has to do with their performances, if not more to do with the sound mix than it has to do with their performances. At first, it felt weird seeing Rachel, who's this kind of really small, very young-looking girl, playing Ava at 26. But as things progress, you realise that that's kind of the point, and it was done kind of on purpose. Older than she looks. Jamie Lloyd. First production of yours I've actually...
They were deliberate, piercing, and relentless a force, impossible to ignore. Bring back the real Evita. The crowd chanted, not just a critique, but a full-blown cultural slap in the face. The words grew louder, gaining momentum as phones shot into the air, live streams lit up, and traffic ground to a halt to witness the spectacle. Within 30 minutes, clips of the protest had gone viral across X and TikTok.
This is just me personally and who I think is the best Evita. My opinion literally doesn't matter, so if you're pressed, put it in the comments and be engaged with it. So my personal favorite Evita is Patti LuPone. Reason for this being is that Patti LuPone has this devious rudeness to her that I absolutely adore in this character. I don't know if that's actually how Ava Perón was in real life. I don't know, I don't care, but her rendition of this Evita was so aggressive and I loved it. Also, this pair together, lovely. I also saw Caroline Bowman do this, not in person. I wish I did. I would murder someone too. But the thing is, it's just no other person has been able to sing the high notes with such crazy power like Patti LuPone. And I know some people are like, I can't even understand what she's saying, and low-key, I can't tell if I understand what she's saying or not. I just know all the lyrics, so now it makes sense to me. But Patti LuPone on all of her high notes, like in Rainbow High, or Screw the Middle Class, like literally so insane. Absolutely adorable. Close second would be Soul Pfeiffer. I don't know why I haven't even seen the whole thing, but literally I've just heard clips and I'm like, this is amazing.
Backstage, Rachel Ziegler was reportedly in her dressing room preparing for Act 1 when a staffer entered with a warning. There's noise outside, they're chanting something. At first, she brushed it off, unconcerned. But as the voices grew louder, echoing clearly even from the wings, the mood shifted. Everything changed.
Yeah! Go, Queen. Yeah!
Cast members say Rachel stormed out of her dressing room, confronting the nearest production assistant with a flurry of demands. Why is no one stopping this? She reportedly shouted, "This is harassment, this is a setup." Then came the line that would break the internet. "You promised me they'd love me." According to an anonymous crew member, The moment was captured on a backstage security camera. The leaked footage has since been viewed millions of times.
Rachel Zegler definitely didn't get the most love in movie theaters this year, where a Snow White movie cost Disney $250 million, so she decided to pivot her career back to doing theater, but now she's getting hate for that as well. And now Rachel Zegler is living in London doing the play of Evita, where she is playing the lead, and there's been a lot of iconic actresses to have that part before, like Elaine Page and Madonna. The play of Evita, probably the most famous song is Don't Cry for Me Argentina, which was performed by Madonna in the 1996 movie that actually got her a Golden Globe win. So now Rachel Zegler's performing, and she is doing an amazing job, but a lot of people don't like how her and the play decided to organize this. But they've organized it so instead of Rachel Zegler singing inside the theater for the people who paid money for the ticket, she actually goes outside and sings on the balcony where people who didn't pay anything, and they've actually gotten crowds of over 600 people. But the problem is the people actually in the theater are really pissed off about it because tickets are going for as high as $500, but they're actually just watching a live stream of Rachel Zegler singing for a bunch of people who didn't pay anything. To be fair, this wasn't entirely Rachel Zegler's decision, but she did support the idea saying it makes the play for everyone. Well, except for actually the people who paid money to see it, which is kind of a problem. But with that, I'm Charles Barnes. Please subscribe to learn something.
Red-faced and visibly shaken, Ziegler reportedly accused the team of sabotaging her, claiming they never believed in her and had let the wolves in through the front door. Outside, the protests swelled, passers-by joined the growing crowd. News vans began to arrive, and in a dramatic turn, one rogue protester projected a towering image of Eva Peron onto the theater wall. Across it, in blood-red font, blazed the words, "This is not her."
Congratulations on all the success too, Ranger.
Sir.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Rachel, you're not trying to pass some autographs for us, Rachel? Rachel, please. Rachel, thank you, Rachel. Hey, you on the way out?
Inside the theater, most audience members had no idea what was unfolding outside until ushers began delaying seating. Confused, some attendees pulled out their phones and gasped as they realized they were trending online simply for being there. Outside, the chant never stopped, it only grew louder. Backstage, Rachel was reportedly unraveling. According to multiple sources, she refused to go on. "Tell them to cancel the show," she allegedly shouted.
Well,
Feels wonderful.
feels wonderful. All right. Congrats, Rachel. Good luck.
"I'm not stepping out there if they're waiting to tear me apart," Rachel allegedly said, standing her ground as the producers pleaded with her to continue. But by then, the damage was done. This was no longer just a casting controversy, it had become a full-blown uprising, and at its center stood a young actress caught in the crossfire between Hollywood ambition and a legacy she never truly earned.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have when I say that this has been the biggest adjustment of my life, like understanding the way my life operates now, being who I am, and the things that I've been so fortunate to make. It comes with so much ground.
Backstage, panic spread like wildfire. The chants outside were no longer just background noise, they rattled the very foundation of the theater. Rachel Zegler was unraveling. According to multiple insiders who spoke anonymously, the actress became inconsolable within minutes of hearing the protest. At first, she paced nervously, then yelled, then fell into silence. Everything snapped when she overheard a tech assistant joking, "Well, they've got a point." Witnesses say Rachel stormed into the control booth hallway, pointing angrily at staff and shouting, "Who the hell said that? Who thinks this is funny?" The entire backstage crew froze. It wasn't a dramatic outburst, it was a breakdown. One crew member recalled, "She looked like someone who had just realized the internet had turned against her. It was as if she finally understood that this role wasn't going to save her. It was sinking her." The meltdown didn't end there. In a fit of desperation, Rachel reportedly began blaming everyone around her: the director, the costume designer, the marketing team, accusing them of making her look like a fraud. According to leaked backstage footage, now removed from most platforms but mirrored across underground forums, she screamed, "I begged you to help me connect with her legacy. You just wanted a headline." When an assistant tried to calm her down, Rachel lashed out verbally, "You think this is my fault? You think I asked for this? I'm the face of this dumpster fire because you cast me." It was a complete collapse of composure, and someone was filming the entire meltdown not out of revenge, but for insurance. By that point, even the crew knew something much bigger was unraveling, and no one wanted to be blamed when it all came crashing down. Meanwhile, Word of the protest and Rachel's breakdown was reaching the top. Theater executives, publicists, and producers arrived mid-performance to manage the crisis. Some urged her to leave quietly, others tried to coax her back on stage to save face. But Rachel reportedly told them all the same thing: "You want me to perform while they're chanting for my head?" Her refusal wasn't just dramatic, it was strategic. According to an anonymous executive, she believed walking out would shift public sympathy in her favor. She thought that if she appeared the victim, the crowd would turn on itself. What she didn't anticipate was what came next. Just hours after protest footage exploded across social media, a new bombshell dropped it. Time from someone who had worn the same shoes. A former Broadway actress who once played Evita in a regional production posted a viral TikTok that set the internet ablaze. Her face was partially obscured, her voice slightly altered, but her message cut through the noise like a blade. "I'm not here to cancel Rachel," she began. "I'm here to tell you this role isn't about glamour or Instagram followers. It's about legacy, sacrifice, and culture. If you don't respect that, you have no business wearing the dress." The video racked up over 500,000 views in less than 12 hours. Comments flooded in, calling her brave, authentic, and the Evita the show deserved. But the story didn't end there. In a follow-up post, the same actress shared private messages from others in the theater industry, including former castmates of Rachel's who had remained silent during her rise. One message read, "She didn't study Evita, she ignored the dialect coaches. She called the history boring and said she was going to modernize it." Another claimed Rachel mocked the original costume designs as too old school, demanding something that looked more like the Hunger Games. Whether these claims were fully verified or not didn't matter, the narrative was already shifting. Rachel wasn't just being protested by the public, she was being disowned by her peers. Even theater critics who initially supported her casting began to withdraw their praise. One high-profile blogger tweeted, "We gave her the benefit of the doubt, but when you disrespect the legacy and alienate the culture, it's over." Industry insiders and fans alike started openly criticizing Rachel Zegler's portrayal of Eva on side-by-side videos comparing her performance to those of legendary Evitas, Patti LuPone, Elaine Paige. Alina Rogers circulated widely online, and the contrast was stark. Where the classics radiated passion and intensity, Rachel appeared lost and disconnected. She didn't sing with conviction. Instead, she seemed like she was performing in a high school musical. One comment captured the growing frustration. What hit hardest was the consensus that Rachel wasn't just miscast, she never understood what she was stepping into. This wasn't a career misstep, it was pure hubris. The actress who first ignited the viral backlash through a TikTok video summed it up in her final post. "Eva Perón didn't fight a revolution, so she could be portrayed by someone treating it like cosplay." That line instantly went viral, appearing on protest signs at the very next performance. The backlash had moved beyond personal taste and become a cultural battle over respect and legacy. That with pressure mounting, attention turned to the production team. How had this casting decision happened? Who thought it would work? Leaked internal emails soon revealed a cold, commercial calculus. One senior producer's message, sent weeks before the casting announcement, read, "She's trending, she's controversial, she'll sell tickets. Doesn't matter if she can sing, she can sell it." This blunt admission was shared and reshared, hardening the narrative. Rachel wasn't cast to honor Eva Perón's legacy, she was cast to generate buzz. The consequences extended beyond social media outrage. Major sponsors pulled their support. A luxury fashion house that had designed the show's costumes quietly removed all mentions of the production from their channels. Refund requests flooded in from disillusioned fans and high-profile patrons alike, some eager to distance themselves from what many called the biggest casting disaster in West End history. One sponsor told a tabloid, "We thought we were backing a revival. Instead, we were funding a fire." Behind the scenes, producers held emergency meetings. Plans to pause the show and recast Rachel with the understudy were quickly thwarted by a contractual clause, giving Rachel control over any replacement. Without her written consent, a clause her team had insisted on to protect her brand. Now, it made her look even worse. "This isn't protection, it's ego," a critic wrote. The production's official social media offered a vague statement, thanking the community's passion and promising adjustments, but fans were unmoved. Comments screamed, "Too late, cowards," and recast her now. A petition demanding Rachel's removal soared past 250,000 signatures, triple the number from a week earlier. Even within the cast, tensions showed. An ensemble member posted a storm cloud emoji over Rachel's dressing room with the caption, "You can't outrun what you don't understand." The producers wanted a star, but instead, they got a scandal. The only sound louder than protests outside was the silence from the team responsible. While the protests in London grabbed headlines, the real storm raged thousands of miles away in Argentina, Eva Perón's homeland, where she's more than a musical character. She is a sacred national symbol. The backlash in Buenos Aires was immediate and fierce. Argentine media outlets ran scathing headlines, "Evita turned mockery." A Western disgrace, Zegler's Evita sparks international outrage. Cultural critics, politicians, historians, and even members of Argentina's Peronist parties spoke out. The Viva Per Unhistorical Foundation condemned the production as a shallow Western interpretation that stripped Eva of her political fire and recast her as a pop doll. Their statement exploded on Spanish-language Twitter, fueling the hashtag Evita no es un disfraz. Hashtag Evita is not a COS to me, closing parenthesis. The controversy sparked a global conversation about cultural ownership, historical integrity, and the risks of commodifying stories that aren't fully understood. Adding to the outrage, a clip resurfaced of Rachel in a past interview, laughing as she admitted she knew little about Eva Perón before being cast, and was still Googling facts midway through rehearsals. What was once tone-deaf now felt devastating. Argentine TikTok users stitched the clip alongside real speeches from Eva Perón, highlighting the absurdity of casting someone so disconnected from the role's history. One creator bluntly stated, "They turned our revolution into a meme." Shortly after, the Eva Perón Museum in Buenos Aires issued a pointed statement without naming Rachel that read, "Eva belongs to the people of Argentina, not to trends, not to ticket sales." Sources revealed the museum was reconsidering future licensing agreements with international productions. Rachel Ziegler wasn't just disliked, she had sparked a diplomatic embarrassment. Tourism officials expressed fury that a production billed as a global tribute to Eva's legacy had instead become a cultural misstep. A Buenos Aires city council member tweeted, "They're not celebrating our legacy, they're selling it badly." And in a final blow, one of Argentina's most beloved singers who once played Evita publicly declined an invitation to perform at the show's closing gala, saying, "Eva lived with fire. This version burns nothing." Rachel may have thought she was leading a tribute, but to millions across Argentina, she had become a cautionary tale symbol of what happens when cultural reverence is lost to ego and misunderstanding. After days of protests, walkouts, and international outrage, Rachel finally broke her silence, but instead of calming the storm, she fanned the flames. Tori appeared abruptly, a black screen with white text, "Let them scream. I won't break." Apology, no reflection, just defiance. For critics hoping for humility, it was an insult. The post lasted just 24 hours, but sparked a frenzy of screenshots, TikTok reactions, and Reddit threads. One viral tweet read, "You already did break, sweetie." Fans and former supporters alike were stunned. Many saw her post as mocking her critics and victims in the controversy she helped fuel. She had yet to address the backlash from Latin America, cultural leaders, or the Eva Perón Foundation, but she had time for a passive-aggressive Instagram war cry. One viral TikTok summed up the mood perfectly. "We wanted accountability. We got attitude." The fallout was immediate. Theatergoers began canceling tickets en masse, posting refund screenshots with captions like, "Let me scream too from my couch." Broadway influencers and critics, many of whom had remained silent until then, finally spoke out. One tweeted, "You can't out-ego the people. Ask Andrew Lloyd Webber how that worked out." The damage was no longer just emotional, it was economic. And it wasn't only fans who were upset. Sources say producers were blindsided by Rachel's post. Backstage was described as chaos laced with rage. Rachel was reportedly warned by PR to avoid posting anything, and she ignored it. Some whispered she might be trying to sabotage the show, hoping for an early shutdown to escape further embarrassment. After all, if she could recast herself as an artistic martyr rather than a failed lead, the narrative might be salvageable. Backstage, the atmosphere turned toxic. Crew members unfollowed her on social media. Cast members shared cryptic quotes about ego, legacy, and silence. One posted an Instagram reel showing a protest sign reading, "Eva Perón was on T, an influencer." The message was clear. In the days that followed, even Rachel's Hollywood allies quietly distanced themselves. A fan account noted that actresses who once liked her posts had unfollowed her when contacted for comment. Her team declined. But the damage was done. She hadn't posted a statement, she had posted a war cry. Now, the audience was walking away. When the curtain rose the next night, dozens of seats sat eerily empty, not because of scheduling or weather, but because fans were choosing to stay away. The once hyped revival of Evita, led by Rachel Ziegler, was becoming a ghost of its former self. Ushers whispered about cancelled comps and half-empty galleries. But the most surreal moment wasn't the empty seats, it was the silence. For the first time since opening night, there were no cheers, no applause, only tense stillness. This was no longer just a show, it was a reckoning. It was a reckoning. To watch more such videos, please subscribe to our channel Celeb Club 1. Thank you.